Okay, wonderful. All right, so I got to reshare now, I believe. Okay, so can we just get confirmation that you all are able to see my screen? A chat will do, or are you not showing your?
Oh,
That'll work. Thank you.
yeah.
Can you see it? Okay, great. So, Five Steps to Success, our lunch break series. And my name is Crystal Rogers. We have someone joining right now. My name is Crystal Rogers, and I'll be sharing with you all the 5 steps to success. What I'm hoping I can do is engage you all for a series, and this being the first of 5 at least series. So, today we'll be talking about step 1. Welcome, Dion. It's so nice to see you again. You're on mute.
Nice to see you as well, Crystal. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. So, what I was sharing with the ladies who are here is that feel free to drop your information in the chat box if you'd like to. Feel free to share where you're from. And that's a loaded question, right? So, where are you from? Where are you joining us from? That could be also about, what's your profession? What do you do? And what makes you interested in the 5 steps to goal achievement? You gonna put that in the chat? Okay,
I'm typing it up in the chat now.
go ahead. Feel
Okay.
free.
Thank
Yep.
you.
So I was just jumping in, getting started, sharing who I am. My name is Crystal Rogers, and I am the coach of Kinetic Coaching. So Kinetic Coaching is my coaching arm of my business. I do have Martin Perry Consulting and Training. And I've always been a coach, but primarily before I was consulting and training. Now I'm leaning more into the more one-on-one or group coaching arm of that. And I've named that kinetic coaching because if you all know anything about physics and energy, kinetic energy is all about movement. And for the purposes of coaching, it's all about accelerated transformation and movement. So that could mean pivoting, transitioning, or a total transformation. But the idea and underscore of that with coaching is that it's an accelerated process. So you get to A to B to C a little bit faster with a little bit of support. So as a professional, I am a certified professional coach. That means that I've taken the tests and, passed all of the, scores and everything that is required to be a certified coach through the International Coaching Federation, or ICF. I also have a background in psychotherapy, psychology, and adult learning theory with my master's from Alberno College here in Milwaukee in adult learning and organizational development. I'm also an entrepreneur. So, like I mentioned, I have the consulting, training, and coaching business, but I also am a partner with my mom. We have a company called Best at Business. So, we're all about legacy and keeping it going and having that entrepreneurial spirit. So, it's part of the reason why I'm here today under that entrepreneur hat. I also work for a wealth management firm, and I have designed, developed, and currently manage their learning and development function. And I'm also a proud mother, bonus mom, and wife to a wonderful family. So I'd love to learn more about you all. So I know you all are chatting in the box. Chatting in the chat box, and I will save the chat. So I'll be sure to take a look at that. And if we have time at the end, I'll be sure to circle back and get to know you all a little bit more. And I want this to be a space for networking. So if you all learn about someone else who's here and see that there might be some synergy, feel free to share your information, and hopefully something can be happening from that connection. Any questions about me before I move on? Okay, cool. So we are here, like I said, for step 1. And let's talk about the shoulda and couldas. And I like to talk about this because When we think about goals, most times we're thinking about, okay, how do I create a SMART goal? We all know what a SMART goal is, right? It's specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, realistic or relevant, and time sensitive. We've been taught that as professionals, it's been drilled into our heads, or how to create an objective and key result. But what we don't talk about is what comes before that. And that could be when it's personal or professional. So when I think about leading up to creating a goal and what needs to happen, I think about, you know, what is it about me in the first place that makes me want to pursue this goal? And a lot of times we have external factors that impose on us those shouldas and couldas. For instance, I have friends who are wonderful at fashion. They love to dress themselves. But when it comes to other people, they're just like, you know what? I don't know. Like, don't ask me. That's asking too much of me. And I'm always like, you could be a wonderful fashion designer, or you could be up in New York, doing styling for someone famous. And they're like, yeah, I could, but I don't want to. Or people like our parents or friends telling us what we should do. You really should apologize, or, you really shouldn't act like that, or you really should show up to their party because X, Y, and Z. Those are coulds and shoulds, but what we're missing here is the primary factor, which should be, what do I want to do? And being aware of that and understanding that is half the battle. So a lot of times we're adopting, and without even noticing that we're adopting other people's decisions for us and what they think we can do just because they know that we're able to, or what they think we should do because of their own values, their own morals, their own ethics. And it has nothing to do with us as humans and as individuals. And so that's where we need to stop ourselves before we start to create goals and pay attention to, who are we as humans? What motivates us? What makes us thrive? What environments do we thrive in? What environments do we fail in? What do we actually value most of all? So, welcome, Teju. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to pause for a second and invite you to share who you are in the chat and anything about yourself, your background, because I would like for this space to be one of networking. And if you feel that there's someone here that you could connect with outside of this space, then you could surely do that. All right. So I shared a bit about myself, Teju, in the beginning. And so I have recorded this. And if you feel that you want to go back and learn a little bit more about me, you are welcome to. So going forward about step one, and also Teju, for your information, this is a series. So today we're going to be talking about step one of the 5 things you should be doing before and after creating goals. So
Listen to Zuzu.
what'd you say? I didn't hear you, Teju.
Oh, I was saying thank you for letting me know. I'm gonna mute myself now. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. So step one is the shouldas, the couldas, and you need to make a decision. So on top of understanding what we value, you also need to understand that to make a decision is literally the operative word, to make. And you're making the decision because it's a decision either to succeed or a decision to fail, or i.e. learn a lesson. And the way you make it is what you literally are doing, what people can tell that you do on a daily basis by how you move, how you speak, how you show up, how you don't show up, what your bank account and receipts show. That is you literally making the decision. And so as you are saying out loud to yourself, to others, to your friends, to your coworkers, what you have decided to do, your kids, how many times, if you have children, have you told your children, you know what, we're not doing that anymore. No more of this. Or, you know what, we're going to have dinner every Sunday at this table every week. And then next week comes and you forgot, and your kids just kind of laugh at you like, yeah, okay, she said this, but she's doing that. That is you making the decision to fail or learn a lesson. Or you can stick to what you said and you can make the decision to succeed. So the operative word in making a decision is literally to make or to create. that decision, starting with your values. So I touched a little bit about on this earlier, and your values, you know, is something that grounds you. It's something that you can share easily once you discover them, and you can align yourself with the initiatives, the actions, the people, the workplaces that really align with your own values. They don't have to be the same, but they should at least complement each other and make sense. And so I'm going to share a personal story with you all and invite you to do the same if it resonates, of how I learned the impact of value. So many years ago, gosh, because I don't even want to tell how old I am now, but back in 2007 is when I initially landed a job at the VA, the Department of Veterans Affairs. And I was so happy about it because they paid well, very well for my age group. And I had a bachelor's degree at the time, but I was making money that people who, earned a graduate's degree had earned. And so I could see also the trajectory easily, like, okay, so public information for what government employees make. I could go online and see after 5 years what I had the potential to earn. And so I was super excited about that. There was no drug test. All I needed was a simple resume. Like, it was so easy. And someone I knew got me in the door. 7 years later, I'm miserable. And I mean, the misery just was every day for 7 years. I couldn't understand why I was so irritated. I was so depressed. I was so unhappy. I was mean to my child. I was mean to my mom. I was, isolated from my friends. I was just a bitch 24/7. And so, I don't know what it was, but one day, I guess my mom had actually had enough, because my mother is the one who finally approached me. And I had been crying that day, but I had cried several days. So I guess she had just had enough. And she said, baby, you got to quit. That was really all I needed, was her permission. Because if you have your mama's permission to go ahead and quit your job, you know what that means. It's like, well, she's not going to let me be homeless, right? So, I felt like I was cool because she gave me the permission. But what she said that was so profound was, you have to quit, because if you hate your job, you hate your life. And I was like, I don't hate my life. Like, what do you, I don't, I got my kid, I got my family, like, I'm happy. And she's like, no, honey, you hate your job, so you hate your life, because you spend most of your waking hours, the hours that you are awake, at work with the people you work with. And then you come home and you have about 2 or so hours after getting settled from getting Jace from school, making your phone calls to your friends. You have about 2 hours of not working or doing something for other people. And then you go to sleep and you do it all over again. That is your life. So if you are going to consciously make the decision to continue to do this and put yourself in an environment that you hate your life. And I was like, wow, okay. So she said, I will need for you to quit. Don't worry about it. You'll find another job. God's got you. I got you. And so I put my 2 weeks in. We went and had martinis at Elsa's, and on my last day, and celebrated the beginning to my new life. It wasn't until a couple of years later, when I got into my graduate studies, and learning about values and what it means to really be intentional, that I looked back and reflected and learned they didn't have any values. They didn't have any core values as an organization for me to even if I had, which I hadn't, for me to even consider, do they align? So I couldn't understand when I was working why the only thing that seemed important to them and important to my success was the numbers. Did I get through the claims fast enough? And if you know anyone who's a veteran, you know that they're like, it could be 3 years before they get to me. We're always on the news. At that time, I'm thinking every time I turn on the news, we're on the news being slammed. So it was about numbers to them. It was a numbers game. And I'm the one who's on the phone with veterans and their beneficiaries talking about how they have exposed cancer because of exposure to Agent Orange. They are dying and they want to make sure that their family has the benefits that they are deserved. And these are people who fought for our country. They're homeless. They're just trying to get their benefits to buy a house. So to me, it was more important for me to take the time and care it needed to really make sure that this veteran got the benefits that they deserve. To my manager, it was, how come your list is still so full? Why aren't you making decisions faster? And so for that reason, I realized they don't agree with my values. Like it's not aligned. And that's why I was so miserable. So going forward, it made sense to me. It only makes sense to me to align myself with not only my job, but the decisions I make for my goals, where I'm going, the decisions I make about the people I'm around, the decisions I make about, what I'm doing day to day need to align with my values because that's what's important to me. So I'm going to be sharing a resource with you. It is the personal values assessment. Can you all see my new screen where it says personal values? Okay.
Yes.
So it's a free test, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat box so that you all can learn what your personal values are. If you don't know your personal values, then you are walking blindly towards creating goals for yourself because what are your goals even about? And do your goals actually align with your values? Or are they perhaps your parents' values or your friends' values and what they think is important? So that's that. The next thing you need to do to make your decision to succeed is understand your vision. You need to know before you go. So, what does that mean? When you think about an organization, a business, your employer, most times any good business is going to have a vision. They know where they're going. And they understand that every department that works for them has a job that rolls up to this vision, this road ahead, knowing where they are going. If we're not on the same page about our vision and where we're going, y'all are going every which way and going nowhere at all. So when you think about yourself as an individual, you need to be thinking about, where am I going? What am I doing? Because if you're not, you're spending your time, energy, and money, your limited resources to go nowhere at all. You are agreeing to go to this party and this day party, this brunch, this networking event, just because you think it's a good idea. But why? First of all, is it aligned with your values? I just had to tell a friend no because she invited me to a yearly annual Adidas party. Well, I don't wear Adidas. And I'm not spending my money on new clothes to go party for what? It doesn't make time for when it doesn't align with my personal values. Right now, I am focused on financial stability, which is one of my values, family, which is one of my values, honesty, which is one of my values. So I needed to have a come to Jesus, get over the fact that I wanted to please her. And after I had initially told her yes, I had to understand, you know what? My time, that 3 hours, could be spent building my business. It could be spent on something on my vision board, my storyboard, not vision board, excuse me. So I had to go back to her and say, I know I committed to going with you to this event, but I would have to buy new clothes. I don't think that that's a wise way to spend my time or my money. I can't go, unfortunately. And she understood. Simple as that. So know before you go, know your vision. And crafting a vision is not easy. It is most difficult, but it is so necessary. Otherwise, the goals that you create, I'm telling you, they are for naught, because you won't find yourself sticking to them or committing to them because you have nothing to look forward to after having achieved those goals. So my vision, for example, this is my personal vision. And I will say it's okay to have a personal vision and a professional vision or a family vision. It doesn't have to be one vision. If you can create one that encompasses all of them, good for you. But, I'm just here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. So, my vision is a notable woman of influence, motivating people through public speaking, coaching, literature, and engaging conversation. So, I highlighted public speaking because today I'm public speaking. Even though I have four beautiful women here today listening to me, my vision for myself is an arena, right? I want to be a notable woman of influence. Thank you, Dion. So I have to start somewhere, though, right? And I challenge you and invite you to start before you're ready. I put these slides together in like a weekend, okay? I probably have a typo somewhere. Jennifer's going, it doesn't matter. Somebody's going to tell me later on, hey, friend, you had a typo here. And I invite that because I'm only going to get better, and I can only do so in the company of others, people who I trust and care for and know care for me. But I'm okay with messing up because I have to start. Because if I don't start until I'm ready, I'm never going to start. And I also challenge you to start when you're afraid, because if you're not afraid, you're not challenging yourself. So you have to get over the anxiety and that fear and just do it anyway. So you also need to practice what you preach and establish a mission. Again, thinking in the same realm of being an organization or a business. They don't do anything without establishing what it is that they do. Why are we here? What is our purpose? So the number one question that people would love the answer to is, what is my question? Number two might be, is there an afterlife? But number one, while they're living, is, what is my purpose? What do you do? And why are you doing it? What are you doing it for? And there's different levels to this. So just to demonstrate for you all, Deanne, would you come off of mute since you're off video already? You're already halfway there.
Yeah.
So I said this would be engaging. So this is where I want to engage you a little bit, and maybe someone else. So when we think about purpose and passion and what motivates us, I like to demonstrate with my clients by using this little, metaphor. So are you willing to participate in that?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So, Dion, if I had to ask you, who do you love most in the world? And just pick one person. That might be difficult, but who do you think is the most, vulnerable, you love them the most, you want to care for them the most?
I want to say myself.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
think about one other person.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
great answer,
That's
though.
fair.
I love that
That's fair.
answer.
I'm going to say my sister.
Your sister? Okay.
Yeah.
Is she older or younger?
My older sister. I'm the youngest. So yeah, my older sister.
Okay, cool. Very cool. But I do love and respect your first answer, though. I love that
Oh,
answer.
thank you. No, yeah.
I wish that was an automatic, answer for everybody. So your older sister, where's somewhere that you all like to go together?
we like to go out to like eat or like just have an experience.
Okay.
Highlight, we went to the Beyonce formation, not this last one, we couldn't afford it, but we went to the Beyonce
Fair.
formation concert together, and that was like a highlight for us.
Okay.
We made a whole weekend of it, so it was nice.
Awesome. I mean, it's always an experience going to Beyonce concert,
I mean,
so
yeah.
I'm sure it was amazing. So let's say you and your sister, and do you mind sharing her name?
Dana.
Dana, are you all D's? Is it like
We're all
as D
D's,
as
yep.
A? Okay.
And 4 letters.
And what, 4 letters?
We're all D's and all 4 letters. Yeah.
That is very cute. Love it. So let's say you and Dana are at the Formation concert, at a Beyonce concert, and you're walking down the aisle and someone trips you, or let's make it a little bit more aggressive. Someone flat out smacks you across the face because you're in their seat by accident.
Okay.
You're seeing stars at this point because the slap was so hard. And on a scale from, let's say, 1 to 10, how mad are you that that just happened? If you could imagine.
I'm probably gonna be at 11. Like I react pretty quick, and especially violence involved. And it's words.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. 11 off the charts. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's reframe the story a little bit. And let's say that someone came up and smacked your sister. She hits the ground. She sees stars. And you're there to defend. How mad are you from 1 to 10 again?
I'm probably still at that 11, if not a little bit. Because if she's on the ground, like I'm seeing
Yeah.
stars, so I'm probably still
Yeah.
upright. But if she's
You blacked out now at this point.
yeah, so
Maybe
yeah.
a little more than the 11. Is that what you were going to say?
Well, yeah, if she's on the ground, like if she's
Yeah, she's knocked out.
yeah, that's a problem. That is a problem. I'm not already on top of the other person and being escorted out myself.
Okay. Yeah.
I sound very aggressive. I mean, but
No,
okay. I mean, the situation it calls for it. So
Yeah.
I'm just okay.
This is an appropriate response.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Someone has, attacked
Assault.
you,
At a
attacked it
Beyonce concert. Like that's not the
at the
vibe.
Beyonce concert. Now you got to go. You've wasted your money and everything, right? So that illustrates, though, for me, people usually have a stronger reaction when we're talking about other people, when we're talking about people that we love. And the irony in this, you actually brought it up in the beginning, is that we tend to see ourselves like at a little bit of a disconnect. It's almost like we hold other people closer than our own selves, and our reactions are a little bit more heightened for those that we love and care for. And that's because of this, phenomenon that we never actually get to experience ourselves. Dion, you'll never know what it's like for me to experience you. You can maybe guess, you can be conscious of it and be careful about how other people experience you. However, you're never going to be on the other side of you experiencing Dion, ever. So that's why it's easy for us to forget about ourselves, because we live inside ourselves. We don't, get to experience ourselves in order to care for ourselves as we do other people. But we need to close that gap. You're closer than most with that gap because your answer in the beginning was like, me, what you talking about? But most people would say my child or my mother or my father or my sibling initially. And so what I challenge people to do is think of yourself in the third person, and really, it sounds crazy, but really care for yourself in the same manner that you would the person you do care the most about. Because that's how you get your brain to start checking in on caring for and protecting and being purposeful and having a mission for the person you should care for and love the most, which is you. Because if you aren't caring for and loving yourself the most, how can you possibly care for other people? So you have to think in airplane mode with I don't even know if they still do that because I can't tell you when I ever listen to the instructions. But I do know that they have the little air thing fall and you're supposed to put it on your mat, on your face first. God forbid I'm ever in a plane crash because I wouldn't know how to use the thing. But that's how you should think about it, is yourself in the third person when thinking about what your mission is, what your vision is, and how you're going to carefully facilitate yourself through that process until you get to the point that you are ready to create goals for yourself. Because without a vision and a mission, you're not going to create goals for yourself that mean anything. So, my mission is to motivate others to be the person that their future selves to live his or her ideal life. So, as a coach, I am facilitating that process with my clients so that their future self will be thanking them today. Thank you for being diligent about your finances. so that now I don't have to be a greeter at Walmart unless I want to. If that's what you want to do, awesome. Or thank you for making the decision to get out of that toxic space, that toxic relationship, or that toxic job, or whatever it is, so that now I can actually be happy and not hate my life. So I facilitate, motivating others to be the person that their future self needs to live his or her ideal life. That's a tongue twister. So now let's move on to making the decision often, rinse and repeat. So once you have a vision and a mission, and now you have your values, you can consistently display those so that now I know where I'm going. Now I know what I do. Now I know why I do it. I know what motivates me. I know what's important to me. And I need to rinse and repeat that because now I'm creating a personal brand. Now I am creating a story for people and a taste for people to leave in their mouths when I'm not in the room. Because your personal brand is what people say about you when you are not around. But if you are practicing what you preach, you have a clear mission, the decisions that you make daily are going to reflect that brand. And now you're showing up in the way that aligns with how you want to show up. Because what we experience as human beings, again, because we live inside and not outside of ourselves, is cognitive dissonance. We cognitively understand I value family, I value financial stability, I value honesty, authenticity, and pleasure. Those are my values, my 5 values personally. But if I am continuously putting myself in situations that make me unhappy, how could I value pleasure? If I am willing to go to the Adidas party with my friend who's supposed to love me, and I know I don't want to be there, I know my budget doesn't allow for that. I know I'm going to have to buy a new outfit, which is disrespectful to my family because now I'm taking resources and using it for something I don't even want to do. How? That doesn't align. And I should be being honest. I should be being financially responsible. So make the decision often, and make sure that it is on rinse and repeat. This is something you might have to do many times throughout the day because when you wake up in the morning, think about it like a diet. You say, okay, I'm starting my diet today. I'm going to lose 12 pounds by such and such a date. That's the goal. And, by lunchtime, you're at the drive-through ordering French fries. No, you got to make that decision again. You got to say to yourself, actually, no, I decided that I was going to be healthy and I was going to lose 12 pounds. This does not align with that decision. Sorry, Teju. Teju, what's the reaction? Tell me more about your crying face. What did I strike? What did I stir up?
That was a very accurate. I just did that yesterday. That's why I'm laughing. I just did that yesterday.
Yeah.
I will make the decision again. Again,
Okay.
iteration is important. I will make the right decision.
And that's the thing. You're not always going to we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for excellence. And so the way to get excellence is to strive for perfection. Remind yourself, but also give yourself grace. So also make the decision obvious. You need to be showing up to your spouse, to your coworkers, to your friends on social media in a way that reflects the decisions that you are making. Remember, we're still on the make part. You are making this decision. We haven't even gotten to the goals yet because before you start to create goals for yourself, you need to be making sure that the way you show up, the way you live is obvious to other people. So now when you have goals, it's not off track. It's like talking to, if you're talking to someone who is battling with addiction and they're saying, you know what? I have a goal to, I don't know, be an Olympic runner or something like that. You're going to be like, okay. I mean, you know, okay, I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm just saying I hope that I can start to see the change in you that's going to reflect what you're saying your goal is. And then I can be a little bit more bought into the idea that that's going to happen, that that's achievable. Like when we think about SMART goals and that A, is it achievable? If you are battling addiction, then that means that you have something external that is going to win every time. So before you battle that addiction you have, you don't even have the space to be talking about that you're going to be an Olympic track star because you would need to shift addiction. Now you need to be addicted to that workout, to that discipline, and things like that. So just make sure that the way that you're showing up before you start to create those goals is in alignment with your mission, your vision, and your core values so that your goals make sense. And then rinse and repeat. It should be obvious to the people around you. So then that brings me to listening. Before you start to create goals, you need to be listening to that inner self. That could be, or probably, and is, I will venture to say, is God, Buddha, whoever it is that you believe in, that is who's talking to you. When you are silent and you hear things that seem outlandish, that seem too big, that seem too scary, lean into that. For instance, I didn't know quite how I was going to show up on social media when I started to design my goals. I'm like, so I know that I need engagement from people. And the way to do that nowadays is on social media. However, social media gives me severe anxiety. Am I going to have a typo? There's always a typo every single time because my brain works too fast. So I'm like getting it out and I just want to get it out. But haste makes waste. And I have to go back anyway and fix it, right? That's another Zoom. So my anxiety also is about they're going to think I'm stupid. No one's going to like my post. Just the regular things that come with social media and it's toxic. So how do I make this more, less toxic for myself? So one day I think I was just on the elliptical working out, and it came to me, I want to be authentic. I don't want to show up on social media in a way that isn't me. But I also have anxiety about sharing too much, oversharing, and giving people too much of a lens into my life, my personal life. Like, can I just keep that for myself? I don't want to show you every time I'm at a restaurant with my family. I actually want to be present. So how do I achieve that? And so it came to me, I was like, why don't I just be my authentic self and start without being ready by sharing with my followers my journey building this brand, sharing how, okay, y'all, so I'm trying TikTok, I'm trying YouTube, I'm trying this, I'm doing it, I'm messing up, I suck at it. But that's my way to share my authenticity with the world while also not sharing too much about my personal life, while also building a brand. And it all made sense to me. But that just came to me and it almost was like someone was speaking to me. And it scared me because I'm like, but then they're going to see every time you show up, you mess up, your videos are going to suck. You don't know what you're doing on TikTok. But I'm like, but that's the humility in it that, I am gonna mess up. And let me just get to it before you do. And let me just, say that I'm messing up and I know it before you get to point your finger at me and say, look at this crappy video she made. And I'm gonna just say it first. So that's how I dealt with that. But the moral of this is be afraid and do it anyway. Listen to what you are being told in the inside. It's not a stupid thought. You are thinking it because you want it. And the only reason you want it is because you deserve it. When they talk about, God's will, not to be religious and everything, because whatever you believe in, I respect that. But there's the will, and that's what's speaking to you. but it's up to you to take the action. So be afraid, listen to yourself and what's happening inside of you, and do it anyway. Just start. So now we're talking about making the decision to succeed or making the decision to fail or learn a lesson. If you're not going to succeed, like Teju said, just yesterday, I pulled up to the drive-thru and made this decision to eat something unhealthy, but I'm gonna make the decision again today. What did you learn in that moment? And it's not just about learning, you know, okay, so I went to McDonald's and I ordered the French fries, but I could have ordered a salad. That's not learning. Those are just facts. What you need to learn is, how did I feel in that moment? What led me to the drive-through? What emotions was I experiencing? What happened right before that? How did I feel after that? Like, what am I learning about myself so that next time I'm presented with the same situation, I can make the right decision? So how do you cope? If something was happening right before you made the decision to get off track that distracted you from your goal, what was that? And how can you cope next time? Do you need to take a snack with you in the car that's healthy? So if you get irritated or you get hungry and you're stuck in traffic, you have something that'll keep you on track. So what are you learning so that next time you can make the decision to succeed? Otherwise, you are surely making the decision to fail. Every time you act in a way that's out of alignment with your vision and where you're going, that's out of alignment with your purpose, that's out of alignment with your core values, now you are spending your limited resource of time, energy, and money on things that do not align with you as an individual. And we don't have infinite amounts of money and time and energy. Those are finite. You do not get them back. So when you are giving away your time to things that are not purposeful for your goals, your values, your vision, they are wasted. You're just flushing it down the toilet. So with that being said, I would like to recap step one, which is to make the decision. So let's see here. And then since we have a little bit more time, maybe we can get into learning a little bit more about each of you individually. So I would like to hear from you all and let me know, what is something that you recently decided to do that might or might not be in alignment with your values, your vision, and your mission right now, if you have them. And if you don't have them, feel free to share that you don't. Anybody? Dion?
Yeah, hi, Dion again. Thank you again, Crystal, for all of this. Very informative and a
Thank
lot of
you.
wheels turning. Something that recently, for my own business, putting out a newsletter kind of similar to your YouTube, your social media, I was like, people are going to see any grammatical errors. I was like, who's even going to read the newsletter? People are just going to unsubscribe like I do when I get it. But I was like, you know what? Who are you sending these newsletters to? I kind of just had to like take a step back because I kept making an excuse, like, I'll do it next month. I'll do it then, like when I have everything. And I was like, you know what? You just need to do it. When 2024 kicked off, I was like, what's your excuse? It's a blank slate. So you're going to start now or never.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it and I was terrified. And then I got texts from friends who were like, oh, we got your newsletter. It looks so good. Thank you so much. Like, I'm subscribing. Like, I sent it out to so-and-so. And I was like, who was telling me that? Who is telling me all of that? Like, it's not going to work. Or like, who do you think you are to create a newsletter? Who am I not to create a newsletter? Like, it's
everybody, you know how many typos I've seen on newsletters, and I'm like,
no,
come
same.
on.
And it's just like, you're human though. Like, so are you expecting to just be perfect and then be a multimillionaire without doing any work? Like, no, that's not how this is not how this works. I mean, you may think that's some people's journey and that's how it looks, but you never know. So just focus on your own journey so you can get to, but that's
Yeah.
so thank you.
You're welcome. And the good news is if you do have a typo or grammatical error, all you're going to do is learn from it. That's all you're going to, the worst that can happen is that you learn from it. So it doesn't really matter for the worst. It matters for the better. No one's expecting perfection. We're expecting excellence. And the only way to get to excellent is to mess up. That's all. So anyone else want to share their values or their vision, mission, if you have them? If you don't have them, maybe something you've recently decided to do. What decisions have you made? I can see Jennifer thinking.
I was gonna turn my video off so that you wouldn't call on me.
I didn't see. I just
I
noticed.
know. I put the pressure on myself, so whatever, I'm just gonna go. It's making repeated decisions to not order a crab boil, for example, from DoorDash because I have these financial goals for 2024, and that's where like a lot of my money went last year. And it was very gratifying and satisfying in that moment, but then looking back, like the hundreds of dollars I spent on crab boils, it's embarrassing. So we're on February 5th. I have not ordered a crab boil yet this year. And I am proud of that. Thank you.
I have a follow-up question, Jennifer, if you don't mind. Have you made crab yourself this year? Like for yourself, made it yourself? Was it tasty?
It was.
Yeah.
Mine is good. It's just it's not the same.
I
as
get
last
it.
time, for example.
I get
And
it.
it's more work. So
It is. But you know, when making the decision, right, you're literally making the decision to, well, let me ask you to finish the sentence. What are you making the decision to do when you decide against the crab boil?
to prioritize my financial goals over my immediate satisfaction, happiness, greed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I share with my clients as, you know, some a bit of advice is, you know, switch around the story I shared, you know, with Dion when we were talking about who she loves the most. Think about who loves you the most. So, like Jennifer, I'm just gonna keep picking on you. Who loves you the most in the world? If you had to guess, living or not?
My mother.
Your mother. Usually people say that. So if your mother loves you the most in the world and she knew your whole situation and she knew what you wanted being your vision and she knew your mission and she knew your values and she had all this information, what would she decide for you when you came to the decision of crab boil or not, or no crab boil?
You asked what would she choose for me, you said?
Yeah, if she had the information of your vision, your values, your goals, and everything that you know, what would she decide for you?
Oh, no crab boil.
That's, yeah, I would guess that too. And so when you're thinking about yourself in the third person, think about what the person, because this is what makes it real, because it's really difficult for us to think of ourselves in the same way that we think of people we love most in the world, right? So you can think of it that way, but also the inverse of that is the person who loves me most in the world. Usually our moms, our grandparents, our dads, things, you know, people like that. Not our kids, because they're gonna be like, get the crab oil. But someone who cares about you and cares for you in a responsible way that wants the best for you and wants you to be better than they were, what would they do for you? For me, that resonated when it came to relationships because I would put myself with anybody. Just any Joe Schmo off the street with gold teeth and dreads was like, okay, where are we going? Okay, I gotta drive. Okay. Oh, you forgot your, okay. Okay, no problem. So, but if that were my mom or my dad, they'd be like, if you don't get your butt up out that car, actually, if you don't drop him off and come home. So you got to think about yourself in third person, but also about who loves you the most and what decisions they would make for you if they were given all of the information. And that's the very important part, because sometimes we don't share all the information with the people who love us the most. So when we don't share all the information with them, then her mom might be like, get the crab boil, what's the problem? Because she doesn't know where she's trying to go, or that she needs to be trying to save her finances. So it's all about perception and making sure that, when we think about that, we are considering the full picture that we know. So yeah. Anybody have any questions? We're right at 12:55. So I want to open up the floor for questions for the last 5 minutes. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to move my mouse. So, okay, there we go. So what's next? Hopefully I can get you all back for lunch on next Monday. And over the next week or so, I want you all to be thinking about the decisions that you would like to make, or the decisions that you have made, and what making them looks like. So think and reflect on how you have or have not been making the decision to succeed, and what can you do to change that. And so next week, we're going to be talking about awareness of self and what having self-awareness does and contributes to making or creating goals. If you don't have awareness of who you are, you could be making a goal that's more suitable for someone else, and therefore your commitment to it is it's just not going to happen. You're not going to commit to a goal that is not suited for you. It needs to be tailored and fit just right for the person that you are, the awesome, amazing person that you are, and not anyone else. Otherwise, it's going to be almost impossible for you to commit to it. So I want to thank you all, and also feel free to click on the link that I have put in the chat box so that we can connect. I put it in the chat box way at the beginning. Let's see, where did I put it?
Can you drop it again, please? Thank you.
Yes, I can. I gotta find it. Here we go. Copy and paste. And I'm gonna save my chats. Bye, Jennifer. And please enjoy your lunches if you were not able to eat with me today. Hopefully you all get some food, and hopefully I see you all next week. Share and invite others, please. My goal is to get 10 people for my public speaking. My first goal is the number 10. So today I've got 4 people. I'm almost halfway to my first goal. So I'm super excited and happy about that.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Teju. See you later, Jennifer. Bye, Dominique.
Bye,
Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.